the first season of bear for the UP in Michigan, like the first season, they don't run dogs. So you get a week where they don't run dogs, and then after a week, then they can run dogs, or it changes up a little bit based on areas and stuff like that. But that's the way that I generally understand it. Again, this is my first year bear hunting and, looking into it. And then you get to the point where you're like, oh shit, I drew a tag. So now I've really got to kind of look into it.
What's up, everybody? It's Hachi. We are back for another great episode of the Deer Camp podcast. Man, this week's a fun one. It's actually a two-parter. We're going to bear camp. We're not even talking deer this week. We're talking spring bear hunting with the Johnsons and fall bear hunting with Adam Miller of the Bowhunter Chronicles, who drew a UP tag for this fall. So we get down to the nitty-gritty of that, and we just have a good old-fashioned deer camp talk about bear camp. This week's podcast brought to you by Face Off E-Bikes, Osseo Gear, Latitude Outdoors, Stealth Strips, Antler Anchor, Vitalized Seed, you name it, we love them. Thanks, guys, for listening, and enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Deer Camp podcast. This week, we have the Johnsons. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah, great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I can't complain, mainly because nobody will listen. But hey, what are you going to do? Why don't you guys introduce yourselves, and we'll get rolling.
My name is Jill Johnson. I've been hunting for maybe 12 years, 14 years. Probably 14 years ago, I shot a bow for the first time. So probably 12 years I've been hunting.
Okay.
Yeah, John Johnson. We live West Michigan, Muskegon. 2 kids. Pretty normal.
Boring life.
Yeah. But we do enjoy doing a lot of hunting. So.
Yeah, I can tell by the back wall there. You guys don't just enjoy it; you are successful as well.
Yeah,
we have been. Yeah, for sure.
And then you've got a side business doing some taxidermy, correct?
Well, my son's side, yeah, it's Alex's business. I do help him out quite a bit. So yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, for sure. He's been doing that for. This is his 4th year, I guess. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Dad's always got to get in there and help. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I want to have you guys on this evening to chat about the bear hunt you guys just went on. Basically, I'm going to let you guys roll and kind of just tell me like how that came about and how you guys kind of went through the whole thing. So we'll start right at the beginning there. How'd you guys plan that?
Yeah, I've been doing research for a couple of years and found this guy up in Manitoba, and we've been putting in for points in Michigan forever, and it's going to take a long time to get him down here. So didn't really want to wait that long. So we found this guy in Manitoba, and I talked to him for a year or so, and booked the hunt to go June of 2025, and that was awesome. Yeah, Clearwater Outfitters up in Manitoba. So
definitely putting a shout out for those guys. Was it a combination bear hunt and fishing, or was it just strictly a bear hunt?
Yeah, so we rented a boat for the week. They've got boats there, and a humongous. The lake is like 7,500 acres, and it's a really big lake, and some fabulous fishing. We probably caught, I don't know, over 100 northern pike, probably
at least
pike, lake trout, and are the main fish that they fish for there. So. We didn't make it out lake trout fishing. I was too busy bear hunting, so but we caught a ton of pike. So
okay, so was that kind of like a morning fish, and then you would hunt? You just hunted evenings, or did you hunt mornings?
Just hunted evenings. You'd go out like maybe 2-3 in the afternoon, and it doesn't get dark there until 11 o'clock at night or whatever. So so get up in the morning and fish for a while, and then head out hunting. So
okay, how deep were you guys in the bush?
Oh, that's a good question. So Clearwater Lake there is not too far. It's maybe like 30 minutes from a decent sized little town. But we would go from the lodge there, we'd go about an hour in different directions to hunt the stand. So where we stayed was actually not too far out in the bush, but where we hunted you wouldn't want to get lost.
Pretty deep forest.
You wouldn't want to get lost out there. That's for sure.
Okay. Was it a fly-in trip or a drive-in trip?
No, drive. Yep. We drove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming the stands were way out in the bush and
You had to
baited
take
sites.
four-wheelers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So drive trucks, for about an hour and then jump on a quad and, anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes on the quad to get out to the stand. So, yeah.
Okay. And they were dropping you guys off?
Dropping you off. Yep.
Right
Yeah.
to the stand.
Yeah. And they'd bait at the time they dropped you off and then come pick you up at dark. So.
Okay. Well, were you both successful on this hunt?
I was.
All right.
I was not. So I shot a bear the very last night, and I knew that the hit was a little bit high, and we tracked him the next day for about 4 miles, and just never caught up with him. So they think it was probably a one lung, hit that he's probably going to recover from. So.
Okay. Well, Jill, let's talk about your bear then, since you
Okay.
were the successful hunter here.
Yeah.
We'll just push John to the side for a minute here, and we'll hear about the killer. So you're up in your stand. Give me the play-by-play on this.
So I want to say this was it day 4?
3 or 4, I think. Yeah.
I think it was day 3 or 4. And the first day I was very, very nervous. I had a lot of bear come in, and I don't think I could have pulled my bow back if I wanted to. I was so nervous. Had a mama bear and some cubs come in. They were fun to watch. But on the third day, when he drove me out to my stand, the bear heard the 4-wheeler and sat in the middle of the trail and was like looking at us. And I had my release in my pocket. So I was on the back of the quad and I was like taking my release out and I was putting it on. And he's like, "Are you going to shoot it here?" I didn't shoot it there because he was just a little one, but I was ready to shoot a bear.
Okay. All right. Defensive mode as well. I mean, it is a bear we're talking about.
Right, exactly. The tree stand that I was in was a little scary, I guess, because you had to climb up a ladder and then get on a platform and then climb up another ladder. So it was like a platform on top of a platform. So it was pretty high up in the air, but I could see forever and I could see like bear trails and I could see like where they would come in and stuff. So that night I had quite a few bear come in. I had a really big boar come in, but he was pretty rubbed up. He didn't have any fur like from his neck down, and his shoulders. I have really cool pictures of him, but his shoulders and his arms didn't have any fur on it. He was, what is that from? Why does they do that?
They just rub on the trees.
Yeah, just pretty. It was pretty rubbed up, and finally the bear that I shot came in. And I watched him for a long time. And then I decided that I was going to shoot it. It was about 150 pounds, 17 yards away, I think is what I ranged it at. Is fairly close. And then so I texted the guide, and there's not really much service up there. But he did get the message. So he came out and he was there within probably an hour and a half. And we walked around for a little bit, but it was starting to get dark. And tracking a wounded bear in the dark was a little unsettling. So we opted to get back on the quad, and we went back the next morning and recovered it right away.
Okay. How far did that bear go?
300 yards in a circle. So he ran out and then just kind of ran around a tree a lot of times and died.
All right. So after that, you guys recover the animal, bring it back. Now, what's the process after that?
Yeah, they took some pictures at the lodge. Well, they took some pictures out in the field first, and they took some pictures at the lodge, and then they skinned it all out, quartered it up for you. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Have you guys had any of it yet? Have you eaten some of it yet?
Yeah.
That's excellent. Yeah. So, we'd heard all kinds of stories about, bear meat's terrible from some people. Other people, say that it's the best meat they've had. And so we weren't really sure, what to think. But yeah, it's been very good. Yeah. So.
We did some research though before cooking it, and it's not gamey. We actually put it into a crock pot, like stew meat. So it was like kind of chunked. Put it into a crock pot, and we used root beer.
Yeah, root beer. Yeah.
With root beer. Cooked it slow for about 6 hours. and then drained it and pulled it apart, kind of like pulled pork. And then we just made street tacos out of it, fried it in a pan with some seasoning, and it's really good.
I should have waited till the end of the podcast to ask you about this because now I'm hungry and I want bear street tacos. So, same situation. I think you know Matt Zoll. He lives down there by you. Yep. He brought bear backstrap and venison backstrap to camp this year, and he cooked them both, and then he didn't tell us which one was which.
Oh, okay.
And I would same thing. The bear, I'd eat the bear over the venison. Any day of the week. I was blown away at how good it was.
Yeah, excellent. It has a little bit of a sweet taste, and maybe it's because of the root beer. I'm not sure, but it was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have company over, and we never tell them what we're eating, so then we tell them at the end. And sometimes we get a surprise, and sometimes we're like, "Oh, I'm not coming back."
Yeah, I can't believe you served me possum. Well, that's cool. Will you guys be heading back there? You think?
Definitely, yeah. We're going back next 2026. So so we'll be going back next June. So
okay. How many people were in camp? What was the accommodations like?
Well, there was
2, 3, 4 of them, and 2 of us. 6.
Yeah, I think there was 6 of us total. Yeah, and the 4 guys that were there were from Wisconsin, and they had been there like 13 times. These guys were super avid bear hunters. And they were like, "Yeah, we're going to shoot 400-pounder, or we're not going to shoot one." And 2 of them did. So, and the other 2, just watched bears and were like, "Yeah, well, I didn't see the big one this year. I'll come back next year." But they come. Those 4 guys come every year, I guess. So,
okay, well, that's a good repertoire for the outfitter, being that if you got guys coming back that many times, you found something good. Was it hard? Was it hard to get in with the outfitter?
No. So I think as soon as I called him, he said he could get me in the next year or so. And I think when I rebooked right away. I think he might have been filled up for this year, so we couldn't. We weren't going to come this year anyways. But I think we had to wait. We had to wait a year to get in this time. So
okay, that's great. Accommodations, were you guys in tents or in a lodge or
cabin? So they have one main lodge that the guides stay in, and they do some cooking in. But everybody has their own little cabin. So it was like a little 2-bedroom cabin with a kitchen and everything. This hunt was bring your own food. So we did our own cooking for the most part.
Yeah.
They did have us over for dinner a couple times at the lodge. It was bring your own food and stuff. So
okay. You had power and everything then?
Yeah. We had a bathroom, a refrigerator, sink,
small kitchen.
Yeah, just a small little kitchen, but a bed. And then we had another room where we kept our hunting clothes and stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great, man. What a cool story. Now, John, I'm kind of disappointed you didn't shoot one, and Joe did you? But
he did. The great part about them, when we got there, they give you a little orientation, and they talk to you about what you want to shoot. And he says, "Listen, we got some stands where you're going to see, 15 to 20 bears a night, but the chances are there's not as many big bears at those stands. Or if you want to go sit in a stand where we know there's some really big bears, but you're not going to see that many bear." So that's what I chose. I chose to try to hunt a really big one. I knew that I wouldn't see as many bears as she did. We come back to camp at night, and she'd be like, "I saw 15 tonight." I'm like, I saw 2. So,
I saw a squirrel.
You're right. Yeah.
Any other wildlife? Any other game that you saw up there? Was there?
Yeah, I had a moose underneath my stand one day. There's a few deer there. But yeah, moose and deer are pretty much And then there's wolves up there. We didn't see any wolves. There's fisher and marten and stuff like that.
I had those running under my stand. Those were fun to watch.
Okay. All right. So the moose under your stand, did you get some footage of that?
No. So I heard something coming, and most of the places you hunt are pretty thick. You can't see very far. I heard something coming, and it was a young bull, ran right underneath the stand. And I didn't have time to do anything around me. So
that's crazy. Wow. So the marten and the fisher were just playing underneath there and running all over the place. All right. What about this year? What are you guys' plans for this year?
Yeah, we're going to be busy this year. So Alex and I are going to Nebraska for their opener. So that'll be September 1st. And then Jill and I are going to go to Wyoming and do some mule. We've never neither of us ever hunted for mule deer. So we're going to hunt mule deer in Wyoming. And then we'll have Adam Miller's camp early October there. And then I'll do some hunting in Missouri. I've got a lease in Missouri, so we'll do some hunting there. So yeah,
Okay.
It's gonna be a busy fall for sure.
How's the stuff looking at home? How's the habitat and everything looking?
The food plots have been growing great. We don't have very many deer around here though, and not very many big deer. So yeah, so we'll see.
Okay. Nothing on camera yet then that's getting you excited?
Not at the house. Actually, I have a couple cameras up by Adam's camp there and got a couple really nice bucks up there on camera. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So
back in that same spot where we were at that one?
Not far from it. No, not far from where I shot the one a couple years ago. But yeah, not far from there at all, but not in the same spot. So
okay. Did you ever get back into that spot?
We've hunted there a little bit. I've taken Joe up there to hunt a little bit. My son up there to hunt. Never killed anything up there, but we've seen some nice bucks up there for sure. So
I was going to say we found that scrape back in there that was like the size of a dining room table. I mean, there's got to be something in there.
Yeah, we just need to spend a little more time in there, and totally figure them out. We were up there. It wouldn't have been the last October. So 2 years ago, we got a big snowstorm on Halloween night, and we were up there hunting that night. All three of us had close calls with some nice bucks that night, but just not quite close enough to kill with a bow. So.
Okay. There's not a lot of couples that hunt together, and you guys hunt together quite a bit, correct?
Yeah. We
do. Yeah.
All right. What's that dynamic like? I mean, I'm used to hunting by myself, so what?
Well, a lot of my friends are like, "Wow, you're so lucky she gets to hunt with you," but it costs twice as much. I got to buy 2 bows and camo for 2 of us and all the tags for 2 of us, but it's good. So I get a lot more opportunities to hunt than I probably would if you didn't hunt. So
okay, yeah, absolutely. I could. It's funny. I talk to so many guys that are like, they only got a certain amount they can get out. Well, heck, if you take the wife with you, you're good to go, right?
Right. Yeah, and she totally understands why I want to go so much, and I make sure that she's got a place to hunt here when I'm gone. So
okay.
It works out all right. So
all right.
Yeah, my dad doesn't live too far from here, so when John's gone and I hunt by myself, I got people that help me.
Perfect. That's the beauty of hunting, is the camaraderie and the community and all that. There's always someone that's willing to come help. I know I'll drive a long way to go track a deer because it is just
right.
We like deer trekking.
Absolutely. What is the what was I going to ask you here? You got it written down here. So let's talk about Wyoming then. What the mule deer thing? What are we expecting on that?
What? So it's
outfitter or DIY?
It's with an outfitter. Yep, the same guy we went hunted a couple years. We antelope hunted a couple years with.
Okay.
Yeah, in Wyoming. So we were out there antelope hunting. They've got a ton of antelope, and every night we'd be driving back, and I'm like, wow, look at these freaking mule deer! Like, let's go mule deer hunting next year. And
he was booked.
He was booked, and he doesn't do any archery mule deer hunts. So he's like, I'll gladly take in a mule deer hunt, but we got to do it with a rifle. And I'm like, come on, man. I don't really want to with a rifle. I want to with he said, well, if you come shoot with a rifle, then we'll talk. So we may be able to go back archery hunting for the mule deer, but yeah, this first year is going to be with a rifle. So
okay. What's the draw for mule deer in Wyoming?
So we had to put in we just had 1 point. So we put in for preference points in 2024 and drew this year. So actually we put in for antelope and mule deer, and neither one of us drew the antelope. So just mule deer. So I don't know if the antelope's getting tougher out there to draw or what, but the mule deer wasn't super difficult. So he's got phenomenal. He's got 64,000 acre. The leases out there are just incredible. He leases from a couple that drills for oil, and the property they have out there is just insane. So, like, you drive around this place, you can drive the whole day, and like you're still on his property. It's insane.
64,000 acres. Yeah, holy cow! Yeah. I was on a ranch in Texas. It was 15,000, and I thought that was big. And we're talking 4 times the size of that.
Yeah. It's 10 miles by 10 miles. It's just,
Yeah.
Just a little chunk of land, no big deal.
But it's all dirt, 2 tracks through the thing, and there's some cattle on it and stuff. But
We saw elk and
they've got a ton of game. Tons of game on the thing: antelope, whitetails, mule deer, elk. So rattlesnake.
Okay.
rattlesnakes.
Oh no, you can have those.
I really wanted to when we antelope hunted. I really wanted to spot and stalk, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure you want to be crawling around in the sagebrush. There's rattlesnakes all over." I'm like, "Yeah, put me in the blind. I think the blind's a good choice."
How you doing? Is it a spot and stalk for the mule deer, or are you guys blind hunting?
It is spot and stalk for the mule deer. It's in October, so rattlesnake should be denned up. He says so.
So he says, right?
Yeah, so he says. Yeah, we'll see.
I'd be putting snake garters on me personally.
Right, probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
So how did you guys? Jill, how'd you get into hunting? Have you been hunting your whole life?
No, I don't really come from a family of hunters. I mean, occasionally my dad, my grandpas, and my uncles would go up to deer camp, but it wasn't really. But I always wanted to. So I don't know. We were early in the dating stage, and he asked me if there's anything that I wanted to do that I've never done, and I said, well, I want to hunt, but I don't really feel comfortable around guns. And he's like, well, what about shooting a bow? I said, I don't know, I've never shot one. So he it was that year when we started dating where we had one of those smaller bows that the kids can kind of like grow into. And so I shot that in the backyard quite a few times. I liked it. I think I hunted with that the very first season. And then the next year I got a little bit better bow, and then the boys started shooting the other one. So that's kind of history, I guess. I just really liked it. And,
all right. I figured John tried to get you out in the blind for like the first date or something like that.
No. Yeah, no.
I turkey hunted with them because we started dating in the spring, and I did go turkey hunting and sat with them. That was very boring.
Yeah, are you guys big into the turkey thing? I'm
not very good at it either. So
that might be why I'm not big into it either.
Yeah, it could be why. So and I always coached baseball, so I didn't really have any much time to put into it. So but we have a lot of turkeys here. I mean, the stupid things are in our yard all the time. So I mean, like in the spring, you could shoot them right off the deck if you wanted to. So
let's see here. How about most memorable hunt, both of you together, apart? Doesn't have to be a kill. What's your I mean, I see some giants back there on the wall behind you. Any good stories there?
I don't know that I have a most memorable hunt. I definitely have a most memorable, a favorite spot to go was a friend of mine has some property up in Minnesota that I hunted for a long time. I started going up there early 2000s and shot some really nice deer up there. Both my kids shot their first deer there. Jill shot her biggest buck up there, and we just had some really great hunts up there. We're actually going to my buddy's house in a couple of weeks here to go fishing, but and he had a property that we've been going up there fishing for quite a while, and he had a property. He's like, if you want to go deer hunting out there, go ahead. He says nobody's been on the property in like 5 years. I have no idea if there's any deer out there. I don't have any clues. So I tried to get a couple buddies to go, and nobody would go with me. So my dad and my ex-father-in-law at the time went up there with me, and I shot two really nice bucks in the first couple of days there. And then, of course, everybody wanted to go. So I, over the 20 years or so that I was going there, I took 4 or 5 friends, and they shot, some really nice bucks, probably the biggest buck that they killed, and we just had a lot of fun up there. Things have kind of, my buddy started hunting a little bit more when he retired, and then his son-in-law and his grandson, started hunting a little bit. So I just sort of stepped away, but I had some really great hunts up there for sure. So.
Yeah, okay, was that big? Was that Big Woods?
Yeah. So northeastern Minnesota, right up near the Canadian border. So I have a blind, I kill them all in a big clear cut, and the blind you can see Lake Superior, you can see the the iron ore boats going up and down the shore. It's pretty cool. So definitely my favorite spot, John.
All right. What would you guys camp up there or stay in a
No, we would stay right at his house. Yeah, he's got a place on Lake Superior there
It's an hour drive from.
Yeah, so we'd have about an hour drive from where we stayed up to the hunting property. So, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Joe? What's your most memorable hunt or
Gosh,
spot to hunt or anything like that?
I don't know. I think the antelope hunt was my favorite hunt. I love deer hunting, the saddle hunting and being able to like move around and stuff. I like that. But the antelope hunt in Montana, I did not put in for a deer tag. I only wanted to hunt for antelope. And the guide he was really good about it, but he said that they're just not super successful hunts and not everybody gets drawn. So I was really fortunate to even be drawn a tag.
Okay.
The antelope was, I just couldn't believe it. It happened so fast. It felt like it took forever, but I had a herd of antelope coming up toward me and I was sitting right in front of like a farmer's gate where the antelope would go in and out. They can jump the fence. They don't. They like to walk through it. So I was sitting there, and while I was hunting, my guide was looking for a different spot because they would sit kind of down below and kind of scope it out. And he just wasn't seeing anything, and he was so worried I wasn't going to get one. And a herd of antelope came up toward me. Well, the doe and the little smaller bucks, they kept like turning around and looking, and I knew there was going to be a buck with them. I had a decoy out in front of me, and he came charging up at it and stopped. And then they can see really good, so you literally cannot move. And so I was like trying to clip my release on, and then he took off, but he was kind of running like sideways, but kind of like dancing around it. And then all of a sudden he took off. And I was watching the doe and they were kind of hurtling toward the gate, but they didn't go through it. And just a few minutes later, I could hear some noises behind me. So I clipped my release on and got ready. And all of the doe went like this. And they looked right at him. So I knew he was coming up next to me. So I just sat really still. And then he got 22 yards away. And then when I shot, I think he was like 11 yards. He was super close. So he was
Okay.
I could have reached right out of the tent and petted him.
How far did you go after you shot him?
Too far. The arrow, like the shot was perfect. And we never even did find the arrow. And it was starting to get hot and the birds were coming out. And my guide, he just told me to kind of sit where I was. And I had texted John and let him know I shot one. So John came out too. So I just stayed in my tent until they got out so we could track it together. And we couldn't find it. So we kind of split off. We couldn't find any blood. And I was like, I swear I shot one. I shot him. And we hiked for quite a while, but it was pretty hilly. And we were just kind of like watching the birds overhead. There's like a lot of magpie and they like to prey on dead stuff. That's how we end up finding it. And
yeah, he didn't actually go that far, maybe a couple, 200 or 300 yards.
But it was like,
over hills and down in little coulees or whatever. So, yeah.
And didn't bleed or?
He didn't. Well, so that's the trouble with shooting a 45 pound. She doesn't usually get past her. So, 45 pounds. She'll get in there, but we don't have much of a blood trail. So it did bleed some. We followed the blood trail a little bit, but it was all sandy, super sandy out there and really dry. So it was hard. It was hard to follow the blood trail.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like tracking at my place then.
Beautiful
beach. And if I had lakefront property, man, it would be a heck of a place.
Right. Yeah.
Well, so talking about habitat, I was at your place, I think about a year ago.
Yep.
When you took me around and showed me everything.
It was last year, right? Before the Mobile Hunters Expo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you were doing some cutting back in there. Have you been working on that still?
Well, I'm still trying to get a logger in here. Yeah. So I talked to another guy today, so we'll see. But
everybody knows me a loggers.
Yeah. Loggers. We have a love-hate relationship, I think. So.
Yep. Hey, actually, same thing. I just lost mine today. The guys that did mine 5 years ago, We're gonna do it, and I haven't heard from them. They called me today and backed out. And now I'm in the same. That's logger number 3 for this year.
Yeah.
And mine's a terrible spot. I'm on a hill. It was logged 5 years ago. I'm on a hill. I'm just trying to get it clear cut because I want the reject. I don't care about the money. I just want the ag.
That's exactly where I'm at. I just need to get a bunch of these junk trees out of here and get some sunlight down to the ground. And yeah. And I told them, like, I don't really care about the money. Like, just come get this stuff out of here. And for whatever reason, they're not very dependable. So,
they gave me the name of a guy. I got another guy coming Friday that's like an independent kind of like, so maybe it'll work out better because maybe he can take a few trees here, a few trees there. I don't care. I just want it gone. So if they don't do it, I'm going to just start cutting them down myself.
That's what I'm going to have to do myself. Yeah. It's like, and there's a lot of trees that need to come down. I'm not sure I want to take that on. So.
I know I don't want to, but something's got to happen. That's for sure.
Right.
Then the pond doing? I love your guys' pond.
Well, the pond was doing great, but this weather has not been too conducive for the pond. So it's
like a giant mud puddle.
Yeah, it's I bet you the water levels probably dropped 3 feet from the spring. So
at least.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Have you guys not been getting the rain down there?
We have not gotten rain hardly at all this year. Yeah, so it's been terrible. Yeah, I put a dock in the spring, and the dock is probably halfway out of the water now. So yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy because we've been getting it like crazy up here. Jared and I did a podcast with a guy out of Mount Pleasant today, and same thing. A farmer, and we were talking about rain and everything, and I just figured he was getting the rain. And he's like, "No, we're in a D1 drought right now."
Yeah. So every time we get, I look at the forecast, it says there's a 60% chance of rain. I'll text Matt Zoll, and I'm like, "Dude, maybe today's the day." And every single time, like we'll have the storm come right at us, and all of a sudden it'll split. It'll go. Half of it will go north of us, half will go south of us. I'm like, well, there we go again.
That's normally our place. It usually does like a big loop right around it, and it starts. I think you can see the rain falling on the west side of the farm.
Right. Yeah. So have you been to Matt's place?
Yes. Oh yes.
So he's only maybe 5-6 miles probably from me.
Okay.
The crow flies. So he's not far away at all. So we get pretty much the same weather. So.
Okay. Yeah, I went down last summer. My son and I went down and helped him plant all his chestnuts and his apple trees and stuff.
Okay.
He's got a cool spot there.
He does.
Have you been there?
I've been there, yeah, for sure. I haven't walked around the property with him, but I've been to his house a couple times. So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's got a great spot there, just like you guys do too. But yeah, let's see here. What do you guys got food plots in for the fall yet?
I've been working on the last couple of days getting things disced up. I just had some rye and clover that was growing pretty well, but I'm getting ready to put the carbon load in. So and then I do have a pretty good food plot that's clover and chicory that's doing pretty well. So yeah,
we put corn.
Okay.
Yeah, and planted corn and soybeans for the first time this year. So I cleared about 1.5 acres to the west of my house here, and planted corn and soybeans there. So that's growing fantastic. So yeah,
you guys seeing deer from the house then?
We saw a deer for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Occasionally we'll see him. Yeah. Occasionally we'll see him behind the pond. Usually there's clover back there too. So we'll see him back there occasionally. In the winter, we'll see him quite a bit if the food plots are doing halfway decent. So.
Okay. Well, we've been doing this about a half hour. I just wanted to catch that little bear story from you guys. I super appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you guys at if they want to follow along? You guys just started a new page a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, for sure. So Jill, all Jill's friends on her Facebook friends are not too impressed by our hunting adventure. So
I tag him in all my posts.
Yeah, she's got to
get comments.
So all my friends will be like, "Oh, congratulations, Jill." Otherwise, she gets like nobody. It's crickets otherwise. So she's like, "I'm like, why don't we just start a page where it's so you can?" And she's trying to meet some other women that hunt and. So we started that maybe a month or so, 2 months ago, maybe. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
hunting
cool.
with the Johnsons. So.
I love it. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. I think it's dinner time, and I think you guys got bear going because if you do, I'm on my way.
We don't. Yeah, we don't.
All right. Well, I thank you
guys.
guys. Absolutely. We'll do it again, shoot some more stuff, and we'll get you guys on here again. I really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thanks,
and,
Andy.
Have a great rest of your evening.
All right, you too. Thanks. Bye.
Hey guys, Al here, Vitalize Seed. I hope you all are doing well. So we got a lot of new things happening at Vitalize this year, and I wanted to highlight some of those. First off, we got a brand new website. We just added a chat feature to that website so you can get your answers to your questions in real time or as fast as possible. Those actually come directly to us, so we can answer those questions, as well as has some auto answer features for those frequently asked questions. So trying to further increase the customer service that we offer. Number two is we are offering bundles now. So we got a lot of questions about people trying to piecemeal things together. So we took the guesswork out of it for you. You want a fertility bundle? Add that to your cart, and it gives you all of our natural fertility products in one place. We also are adding bulk pricing. So been asked about this in the past, and we've done some, kind of one-off things. But for those people who are buying, 5, 10, 15 acres, depending on the product, we're going to be offering some bulk pricing options for that. So right now we got that up on Nitro Boost. We also are going to have that up for the clover, chicory, and oats offering, and might expand that to other offerings as well. Other things are new products. So we got our annual clover. That's a fantastic product for frost seeding and also for this early spring, especially for those who still want to plant Nitro Boost. They want to get that annual clover established. You could go in and drill your Nitro Boost right through, broadcast through it, mow it off, spray it off, etc. We got our premium Clover Plus. I'm using that on all my logging trails. That's a fantastic product. I'm also using that often with our clover, chicory, and oats mix. So I might use clover, chicory, oats in the first year on my logging trails like I did last fall. Let those oats come in, they'll die off, and then I can frost seed my premium clover and chicory over top of those trails now. So those are areas where I want a perennial crop growing. So I'm using that mix. And then we added our brassica mix as well. We, of course, have our seed feed and seed armor. Those are selling fantastic, and various other products, guys. So please check us out at vitalizeseed.com. We sure do appreciate you, and we're looking forward to a fantastic 2025.
All right, we're back. Another episode of the Deer Camp podcast. This week, we have returning guest, my good friend, Adam Miller of the Bowhunter Chronicles. Adam, how's it going, buddy?
Good. I'm just in the business of poaching your guests, getting doing my best to undermine what you're doing over there. So
I'm not doing anything except I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'm doing something. No, I laughed so hard when I heard that.
Yeah, I thought it was like right at the end, and I thought about taking it out, and I was like, no, I think it's good.
It was hilarious. I found it hilarious. I sent Aaron a text right afterwards, and I was like, man, I just want you to know I almost spit my copy out listening to that. And he's like, what did I say? I was like, oh, you said don't tell Hutchie you recorded it. And I was like, man, we got all sorts of time. I'm not worried about it at all. So I thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, you're like the bear hunter now. So what's going on, buddy? How the UP bear hunter?
Yeah, not exactly, but it's funny because like I've been thinking about this and like talking about it, like working myself up to like when I get this tag, blah, 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 blah. And for years, it's been like the last like 3 or 4 years, just trying to pick and choose like when I could like know I could draw and then didn't have like an elk hunt and stuff like that. So this year I said, okay, well, I'm not going to go back out elk hunting because I think I'm going to draw bear. Last year, I hunted, you don't say like too much, but like the amount of trips and travel that I had was a lot. And it's not, my wife's a saint. It wasn't like, oh my God, you need to tone it down. But it was like, Jesus Christ, I was like between like going to ATA, then to Harrisburg, then to Montana, then to Colorado, then to Tennessee last year, and then like two trips to the UP. And then just normal hunting too.
And you had Kansas in there too, didn't you, last year?
Nope. That was the year before.
Oh man, time flies. I thought for sure Kansas was last year. Holy crap. All right.
No,
anyway.
Kansas will be this year, but
okay. All right. Do you guys have dates set for that, or are you just kind of willy-nilly winging it?
For Kansas? Yeah. Like, so I think, so what I had always heard, and like, this is like the, like the John Eberhart type stuff, but was like our gun season, you get a little bit less of like the Michigan and some of the Wisconsin guys, like they're going to be back for their gun season. So there's less pressure. And then that's when their rut is kind of really kicking off and stuff like that. And you get a little bit of colder weather. Last time I went to Kansas, I tried to do that, but it didn't last that long. I went there on the 10th and I had 11 days. So I was going to be like right in that window. And then I killed on the second day. So
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
yeah. But I didn't get to like see, it was still pretty warm when I was there, but the deer were running around, but this year we're going to go like during our gun season. I've got, I don't know, the week that I picked was the week that I'm off. So I have like 9 or 11 days, something like that again. So.
Okay. And there's a groupie going out, right?
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing is like, if you recall the first year that I went to Kansas, I went kind of on myself. I did meet some guys from Michigan, or I went and stayed with some guys from Michigan that I had met previously, but I was not smart enough to just buy a point. I couldn't figure it out. So I was like, well, I'll just apply. I won't get it. And then, so I got it. And so then I had to go out there, but the guys that I was gonna go out there with, they figured out how to buy a point after the fact. So then last year I hunted all over, which would have been the year that we would have went. And so then this year, like everybody drew. So we had like a huge group, and they were certain that they were going to draw, and that other group didn't. So there's just the 4 of us, but still, I mean, it'll be just fine.
Absolutely. So bear, that's when, September?
Yeah. So it's different again, back to like my work schedule, like I have if I work a weekend, then I have like a lot more time off. And so the first season of bear for the UP, in Michigan, like the first season, they don't run dogs. So you get a week where they don't run dogs, and then after a week, then they can run dogs, or it changes up a little bit based on areas and stuff like that. But that's the way that I generally understand it. Again, this is my first year bear hunting and, looking into it. And then you get to the point where you're like, oh shit, I drew a tag. So now I've really got to kind of look into it. But it starts like September 15th or something like that. And then it goes to like the middle or end of October. So that weekend when it opens is A, the youth hunt, and then B, we always have like a family reunion and stuff. But the first season didn't jive with it wasn't worth it to me to change around like almost 2 weeks of work for like 2 days, just a couple of extra days of hunting without dogs. So in talking to other guys, I don't feel like it's going to impact us as much. And we're going to be hunting private. There is big public behind us, but the other 3 sides are private. So, and there's not like a big road or anything. Like if you know how these guys like run dogs where they'll drive them, the dogs will be on the back. They try and cut a track, and they want these roads that are going through these big chunks of public. At least that, again, my understanding. And I've seen them do it like up where we do the Patreon hunt. I mean, they're running dogs, practicing dogs now. So that's the way that I understand it. So I don't think like our property, there are people that hunt off the backside of our property, but they're baited also. And so I'm not concerned too much that the dogs are going to be impacted. But again, I don't know shit about it, but I know that there's a lot of bears up there. So.
Okay. And then you're hunting, you're bow hunting, obviously.
Yeah, I haven't done enough to do it, but I was like toying with the idea. I got some of these stone points for my buddy's uncle, and I was like, that would be really cool to kill one. Like my dad drew a tag too. He's gonna hunt with a gun. He just turned 72, and he's like, I don't think I'm gonna draw another tag, and he's like, I don't want to mess it up, and he's been having some shoulder problems. So he's like, I'm definitely going to hunt with a rifle. So I was like, he's got tons of guns. So I was like, do it with some cool gun. He's got an old 300 Savage. And I was like, use something like that, something neat. But yeah, I think I am still going to try to use the trad bow though. Cause it's
okay.
We're going to, I'm going to set it up. So it's, 20 yards or whatever. It's going to be known distance, whatever. That's where my head is at right now. Anyway.
Okay. What, have you started baiting yet?
No. So it's 30 days ahead of time. So it'll be until middle of August. And then it's a mess. You got Labor Day weekend in there, and then the week immediately prior to Labor Day weekend, that week prior, when I should be going up there and doing it, I'm on the board for this big beer festival, and we have to build this whole thing on the beach. So I'm probably going to go start baiting the week before. I'm probably going to go the week after Labor Day. I'll come back, work a couple of days. I'll probably just fly up there and bait. And talking with one of our buddies, Pat, that's the way that they did it. And it was a little bit better. But we'll see. That's one of the things, it's just been a mess. My brother's getting married. My brother got married in Florida. So I was down in Florida. Now he's having a reception up here. And there's just all this stuff that gets in the way of and we think of hunting season. We plan for hunting season in October and November, and I can tell you everything about Kansas, but what am I doing in the middle of September? Shit, I don't know. I never had to deal with that before. That's not in my planning process.
Okay. Well, you got Pat. Well, Pat shouldn't be too far from you. Maybe you can get him to go bait it for you.
Well,
now that he's living in the Wisconsin there.
Yeah, I've got people up there that said that they would help me out and bait and stuff like that. But I just got to get up there and get the sites set up and stuff like that. And I just bought 2 55-gallon drums of caramel corn. I've got some other popcorn coming. I've got I don't know, at least 25 gallons of raw honey to go up there. And then I'm going to stop. I did that podcast with Anders, and he's right on the way up. We basically have to go by his house to go to the UP. And then there's another place up there in the UP right in the town that does bear bait and all that stuff. So,
okay.
I'm not overly concerned about it. It's just something that I've never done. And so it's really weird because I was going to say at the beginning is you get these guys who spend so many years trying to get this, New Mexico tag or this sought after unit tag in Wyoming or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, now there's pressure that I have to do this and I have to do this. And so that's kind of the way that I feel. I never have that with deer because I can just go anywhere. But this is I have to be in this section during these days and I have to do it this way. I'm not skilled in the art of bear hunting, baiting, locating, any of that. I mean, so it's all of these variables. I feel it's when I was 12 and 13 years old and it was just I'm just going to go out in the woods and throw out some carrots and hope for the best,
Those days were fun. Do you have your sites picked out up there?
So we can run 3 sites a piece. I think I have 3 figured out for sure. One other one that's a maybe, probably likely. And then our buddy William Ritchie, he wants to run one on he wants to go up and actually do one for us and put a camera on it up on public because he's going to draw next year. So he wants to have an established bait site in there, and he's got a lot of stuff. So he asked me, he's like, if you have an extra bait site, if you have an extra one, he's like, I will run it for you because I want to establish it for next year. So I'll probably have him do that.
That's a win-win right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Are you gonna be like ground, tent, tree? What's
no,
your
I'm going to be
plan?
up in a tree.
You're gonna be up in a tree.
Just again, I don't know anything about it. But that's just where I'm more comfortable, but I mean, if you saw the video from turkey season, like I turkey called the bear into 50 yards. So, I mean,
Yeah, they're one of those animals that they just scare me a little bit. I don't know why, but they just scare me a little bit. So I feel I'd be like you up in a tree. Absolutely. Even though that bear can climb that tree real fast.
yeah. And, we were last year in Colorado. We saw one that was on a carcass when we were elk hunting, bow hunting. And I wasn't like really unnerved by that at all. And then this year that one came in while I was turkey hunting, and like I didn't feel like scared, like, because I wasn't. I mean, I had a pistol. I was the thing that I guess like not necessarily like worried me, but what I didn't want to happen, because that bear came down and he saw my decoys and he started walking right towards my decoys, and I set my decoys usually like about 7 yards, so I didn't want him to get close enough to where he got startled and like ran. And people who probably bear hunt or like have a lot of experience with bears are like, they don't do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, you didn't have anything to worry about. Well, I didn't know that, but I wasn't also going to like chance it. And I wasn't like, I mean, I just stood up and was like, hey, bear, like, hey, go. Like, but the fact that when I stood up and went, hey, bear, and like waved my arms, and it just kind of looked at me and looked at the decoys and looked at me again, was like, okay, that's not what I expected at all. If that was a white-tailed deer, gone,
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't have that many predators. So,
Okay. How long did it take you to draw that tag? What was that?
I think I have like 7 points, 6 points, 7 points. So my unit, I could have got first season pretty easily. I think up a lot of the ones in the UP, not like Drummond Island or anything like that, but with like 2 or 3 points, you can draw the third season. And that's what I was going to say. When you were going into like, do I have my sites picked out? Like, we've got 240 acres up there, and some of the areas where I want to put these bear baits are still like by like our deer stands. So it's like, when I'm not exactly sure where I want to put them, it's more so like, I don't want to mess up like the deer hunting kind of by putting a bear bait there. And like, because again, I don't know. I mean, my dad's been sitting there and had bear walk by him while he was up in the tree stand bow hunting. But like, if I'm putting a bunch of caramel corn and honey and freaking, just a bunch of bullshit out there, I would have to assume the deer are going to take a different route. Like, they don't have like vitalized granola,
Not yet, but you never know. You never know. Al might be coming out with that right now. Who knows? Speaking of that, how's your plots doing up there?
So I haven't got any pictures from my cousin up there. My brother, I'll probably post a photo tomorrow, but my brother, he was the one I did that like time lapse or like whatever,
Yep.
and he's 6'4", and it's like waist high. And then he sent me a picture yesterday. He said 10 days apart, something changed. Like, I don't know if there was like that cold little bit of weather that we got or something, but it just got decimated by the deer. Like, they went in and ate off every leaf and every stem and every bud. So you can see that it's all leafy 10 days prior, and then it's just all stems 10 days later. So that one's going gangbusters. We got some over down the road from Frank's, and the deer just hammering that. But Frank threw some out behind his house and didn't really get anything to take off, but we didn't really get any rain after he did that. So
Yeah, you guys have kind of been in semi-drought down there. Is that correct?
It goes like, I think our average rainfall is probably average, but we got like a foot of rain in one day, and then that's all we've got all summer.
Okay. That's nuts. Yeah, I remember when that happened. You guys are flooding out down there. That was nuts. And that you guys haven't got much rain since then?
Not a whole lot. We've had just a couple of days like crazy downpours, and then not any like intermittent rain. And like today I was coming home from work, like yesterday was like the past 2 days have been like in the 60s, 70s. And then today it's like 89 with like a crazy heat wave, like coming like a 10-mile-an-hour south wind. Like, I mean, it's just hot air, just, but I think we're supposed to get some rain either tomorrow night or coming up, but just intermittent.
We're getting pounded right now. I can't hear it because I'm down in the basement, but my wife sent me a picture of outside and it looks pretty nasty. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, when are you planting your fall plots?
So that's going to be like the next phase. Like, so when we go up there, probably right around that same bear hunting time, I built a shed up at my, the Patreon camp basically. And I've got a bunch of leftover material. So my plan is when I go up there to set my baits the first time is to go up there, drop all the material that I have to build another shack up there in the UP, and then take a look at the plots, see what's coming in, and then kind of go from there. And then when we go back up in September, that's like about a fine time up there, because it's like we're going to get some rain. And talking with Jared, like that's not a bad time to do it, especially for like the later winter type stuff. So we usually do it like this weekend, or we have like in years past. But I think we're going to push it out a little bit further.
Okay. All right. Are you doing the carbon load, or what are you? Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because the first year that we did that, like, I don't know if we did it like later or what we did, but it just grew in like whatever's in there that the deer don't eat. It grew up like waist high. And it almost took like a year for the deer to like figure it out, because the next year we planted it and it didn't get over like 2 inches high because it just got eaten down to nothing. And they just straight hammer it. This year we put in one of those segregation fences or whatever. And I'm curious to see like what that looks like, but we didn't like pay any attention to it when we put it up there. So it's just off of the camera. So you can't see what it is. Like, so we messed that up, but
sounds like I set your camera up for you. All right. So we're into bear hunting. It's going to be you and your dad. Are you taking anybody else going to join you in camp, or is it just the two of you?
It all depends on like what's going on. Joe just moved. He's moving into a new house like right now. But he wants to go up there and video some of it. And but so my dad, he retired. He's like, I'm going to be up there until I shoot a bear. So he'll be there up until bow season. So I don't know if people are going to move in and out through there. But like I said, I think the season ends like in like the late October. So my dad could be up there for a month.
Sounds like a terrible spot to be for a month, though. Yeah. What is the plan after harvest?
That another thing that I need to look into as far as like how to, because I know you have to take them to a check-in station and all that stuff. Like, fortunately, when I was in Montana, Tom killed the bear when we were hunting together. And so we processed the bear on the mountain and, did all of that. So I basically was like a child. Like, granted, neither one of us knew what we were doing. But I was like, here, just hold this and do this and all that. But we got to break down a bear, quarter it out, do all that stuff. So I saw the process, not overly concerned about it. My dad has some cousins that live right there in town, and they used to run like a butcher shop and all that stuff. So we have a good like support system as far as like where to take stuff or like what we need to do with the heat,
Okay.
But like I said, I don't know if it has to come in whole, because I know they have to be like 42 inches long. That's something I definitely need to look into.
Okay. The bear itself has to be 42 inches long.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can't shoot a sow with cubs, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah. That's have you had bear before?
So it's funny. You went to the Bowman's Club dinner, like back in the day, that used to be a wild game dinner.
Okay.
But you had like, woodchuck pate and like, raccoon balls and whatnot. Like it was, you never knew what you were getting, but there was always like bear sausage and there was like I forget what it was like bear chili or something there. So I've eaten it in that capacity, but not like bear steaks or anything like that. The one that Tom had, he said he had the whole thing made into sausage and I think he did some brats and they were great.
Okay. I was in camp with Matt Zoll last year, and he brought bear backstrap and he brought venison backstrap and he cooked them, and then he gave them to us and said, "Don't, I'm gonna want you guys to eat it without knowing what it is and tell me what you think." And every one of us liked the bear over the venison. Believe it or not.
Let me ask you this: what temperature was it cooked to?
It was a little on the trigonocious side. Let's put it that way. It wasn't like he didn't kill it. Let's put it that way. It was I want to say he had it to 145, 150, somewhere in there, 160. I don't remember if exactly, but it wasn't like it was like dried out. It was still nice and chewy. And
so did he cook the venison backstrap to the same temperature?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it was the same thing, but it was phenomenal tasting. I was blown away. I didn't think I was going to be a bear hunter, but now I kind of want to be a bear hunter because the food was so good. Now what's your, I know your daughter's really into the hunting with you too. Is she excited for it?
She's like indifferent, she likes to go to the UP. She likes to go to the camp because she gets to swear. If you wasn't this came from the grandkids and my nieces and nephews before me, but when they cross the Mackinac Bridge, they can swear. So they go up there and they get to swear and they get to just eat junk food and they get to hang out with their cousins. And there's I guess there's little devices. There's not that much to do, so they have to like entertain themselves and she enjoys that. She enjoys the hunting part of it, but like, she likes to be involved with like what I'm doing, but I don't know shit about bear hunting. So she's like very ancillary. She's like, well, I don't know. My dad doesn't know how to do it. How the hell am I supposed to know? Why should I be excited about it? I think she'll be excited to like see the hide and the animal and like all that stuff. But,
Okay. Are you going to do a mount?
I want to do just a rug and a skull.
Okay.
But just, I don't know, my grandpa, like, and I don't want to, and I honestly, I don't think that I want to do like a rug. I think I want like a tanned hide, and maybe just keep the claws and then the skull, because my grandpa had one. My grandpa had a zebra rug and a bear rug, and I don't know if they do them all like this, but it was like, laid out in the head and all that stuff. But then it had like felt on the bottom and all this stuff. Yeah. Like I would rather just have like a nice tanned hide just laid out, like just to leave up at the camp or something. What the hell are you going to do with it at your house? Like, I mean, I guess, but that would be one thing. Like Frank killed one in like Maine years ago, and he's got the skull up on a shelf, and he was going to get a rug done. And it's so funny. Like, it's so Frank. He was going to get a rug done and all this stuff. Well, then the transmission went out on the truck on the way home. So there went the money for
the tanned hide.
Yeah.
Or the rug. I got you.
Yeah. But I think I just want to get like a tanned hide. And like, if I was going to do something like that with that tanned hide, you could do one of those pack mounts and just roll it up and just have it sticking out of there. Some, just so that you didn't, I don't know. I've seen them like in camps where they're like, they got the paws and it's the gun holder and stuff like that. And if that's your thing, that's fine, but that's just not my style of decorating.
You don't want a bear coming through the wall, maybe like the butt on one side and the bear coming through the other.
Yeah. Maybe. Like
But in the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah, like the ass on the back of the outhouse door. Like, no,
Yeah.
not necessary. But I do like I said, I would like a nice like tanned hide or something like that.
Okay. You're gonna use the trad bow. Have you been practicing?
I'm always like shooting the trad bow. I shot it. I haven't been shooting it like every day. But I shot it. I've been shooting it over the summer. Actually, I was meeting a guy at the Bowman's Club. I forget. He was trying out a saddle or something. And the Bowman's Club has a broadhead league. And so there's a bunch of these. What they do is they use the cardboard silhouette targets. And then they use their broadheads and they put lipstick on them. So you can see like which one is yours, and you can tell which kind of head you got and whatever, but then you see where the color goes off. Well, I was sitting there waiting for them, and I'm just shooting the shit out of these targets, and they were like 17 to 35 yards away, just fucked up all my fletching. So Frank's got my arrows right now. He actually picked them up today. I went over there. I had to work yesterday and dropped my daughter off, and it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and he was already out shooting his bow. He's like basically abandoned. Like he killed his elk last year with his compound, and I think he may have killed a doe, and he's all but like hung up his compound, and he's like, I'm just gonna shoot trad this year. He's like, I'm only going trad. He just got himself a 360 camera, and he's like, I mean, whatever, more power to him.
Grandpa Rome.
Yeah.
Are you gonna film it? I'm assuming.
The bear hunt?
If Joe, yeah. Or if Joe,
yeah. I mean, I'll film it. Like using that 360 camera last year was so much fun. It was so easy, and I got a lot of cool stuff. And I mean, I shot at a lot of things on camera. And like, of course, both the bucks that I killed, I didn't get on camera, but I shot 2 does on camera. I missed a myriad of deer on camera. So it was fun. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's going to be a fun story because, my dad's going to be up there hunting. We've never bear hunted. So, just being able to like video a bear coming in or like an encounter, anything like that. But then like all the stuff that goes into it, like, he's already got all these barrels, and so we got to make our bait and all this stuff and all these trips back and forth, like it's going to be a fun process to like document at the very least.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I'm pretty excited to watch you go through this adventure. I'm hoping to draw in a couple of years. I don't even know. I want to hunt Baldwin, the Baldwin unit. And,
so you need 10, 11 points, but they just opened up like, I think they gave away like 5 or 7 more tags this year. So
did they? Oh,
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
There were a few units where they gave away more tags.
I think I'm close then. I think I have 10 points. So maybe next year will be the year I go, and I'll piggyback off of your information.
So do you have a spot? Like, why Baldwin?
Well, I want to shoot one off of my in-laws' place. They have they have 280 acres, like right off 115, right in like bear country right there. So I'd like to shoot one off of there. So that's kind of like why I've picked that. Plus, I don't know, you remember the Nixons, the Bond Michigan Out of Doors? They'd always do a show. There was a big bear camp, and they're good friends with my in-laws. And so I've got an in for some help that way. So that's why there. But other than that, if it wasn't that, it'd be the UP, because I love the UP. So, well, Adam, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Where can everybody follow along with the world's greatest bow hunter?
Well, I don't know.
Bear hunter, world's greatest bear hunter.
Yeah, well, let's see. Jake Downs is pretty good. Jim Echo is quite accomplished. There's lots of guys that are great. No, so obviously I am from the Bowhunter Chronicles, and then me and a few of the guys from like the Patreon and all that are going to do some filming, trying to put together some collaborative content through Roam. So Roam Hunt, both on YouTube and on Instagram is probably the easiest places to find that sort of content. So,
well, thanks again. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll be chatting again soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely.